Monday, November the 3rd, Dialogue with Dozy returns. It's your boy Dozy from the Dialogue looking for you Monday night on November the 3rd. The brand new Dialogue with Dozy returns. Facebook, YouTube Live, Monday, November the 3rd. In the meantime, check out all of our content on both YouTube and Facebook under the name Dialogue with Dozy. It doesn't work without you looking for your November the 3rd as we reboot the show. And welcome to Dialogue with Dozy. It's your boy, Dozell B. Sitting in the co-pilot's chair right now. Brother Chris Hargrove. Brother Chris, how you doing?
Good today, Pastor. How you doing?
All right. Listen, we hope to have KB on shortly. Hello, Miss Phyllis. We hope to have KB on shortly. Tonight, we're getting right to the show. We have a very, very, very special show tonight. We're hoping that this acts as a life-saving show. If you remember, we had Minister Hargrove on about 6 weeks ago, and he spoke of a medical issue with him where he's a heart attack survivor, thank God. And so we couldn't think of a better person to come in tonight and serve as a guest host with us. We're bringing on first Crystal and April Glover, two young ladies I have immense respect from. In fact, know them since they were little. They know me since I was old. And they're coming on. One sister is a kidney recipient, and the donor is her sister. So Crystal and April, we're going to bring you on now. We're going to get right into tonight's show. We're on a hard timeline. So, ladies, how are you all doing?
Hi, we're good.
Good evening, ladies.
Many thanks for you all consenting to be with us tonight. And we're going to honor your time now. April and Crystal, just kind of tell your story. If you take 4 or 5 minutes and just tell the story of what led to you going in and having having a donation and the whole process, if you would, please.
Okay, in about November of about 2013, I got extremely sick and was admitted to the hospital. I was in the hospital for about 3 weeks. And during that time, during my hospital stay, I was diagnosed with lupus nephritis, which is basically a type of lupus that attacks the kidney. And so I originally was on medication, thinking that once they got the inflammation or could get the lupus under control, that my kidneys would rebound or recover. And they never did. About 6 months into dialysis, my kidneys just never recovered. And then they decided that I'm going to need a kidney transplant. So around August of 2015, Crystal, about 3 people went and got tested to see if they were a match. And Crystal was actually, my sister, actually the first person that went, and then she was a match. I actually had 2 people that were matches, which is great. So just in case. But anyway, so Crystal went and got a match. And so she was confirmed the match in August of 2014. We went through a series of tests. It was a strenuous process because there was a lot of testing that Crystal had to go through and that I also had to go through. We actually could have gotten the transplant by December of that year, but Crystal is an educator and she didn't want to, take off that much time. So we ended up scheduling it for June 15th of 2015. So I stayed on dialysis until Crystal was out for summer break. That way she wouldn't have to take time because her recovery time was about 4 weeks. So that way she wouldn't have to take time off of work during her recovery process. And my recovery was 12 weeks. So we got the kidney transplant. Everything went well, and now it's been 5.5 years, and everything is still going well. So that's my.
April, tell our audience what you do for a living, so that they'll know just how this. I mean, I know this health crisis took priority with everything, but so that they'll know just what this was like.
Oh, yes. Well, I'm actually an attorney, and I have 3 children. So my day-to-day was actually very strenuous because I was doing dialysis Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays. So I was working full-time still. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, my dad would come over while I left to go to dialysis, and he would get my kids together and take them to school. And I did dialysis from 6:30 until about 10 a.m. I would come home, get a nap, and then work remotely for the remainder of the day and start that over again. So it was actually very, very strenuous, but through the grace of God, he gave me the strength to just keep going. I actually, never felt the weight of it. Just because I had no other choice but to just do what I had to do to get better.
Now I was in my producers in my ear, and I may have missed. How long did you say from the time you were diagnosed to the time you actually got on the list, and how long from the list did you actually take to get the transplant?
Well, I was diagnosed in November of 2013. No, 2013. I was diagnosed with November of 2013, and I started dialysis because the doctors originally thought that since it was just a lot of inflammation around my kidneys, that if they just put me on enough steroids, that the inflammation would die down and the kidneys would recover. Around about, I don't know, maybe like between February and April of 2014, which was the following year, they said, listen, we're going to have to get you started with the transplant process because we're not seeing any changes in your kidney function. And so once I did all the blood work and everything to get the process started, I actually didn't have to really be on the list because, like I said, 2 people already were matches for me. So I didn't want to, waste room on the, transplant list if I knew that I had a match that was actually willing to donate the kidneys. And now let me just add this in. They have a program where if you have a match, if you have someone that's willing to give you a kidney, but they're not a match, they actually now have processes where if I need a kidney and someone else needs a kidney, but neither one of the people that want to give us our kidneys match, but they match each other, that person's donor can give me their kidney, and Crystal would have been able to give that person a kidney. They're doing a lot more things to make, to help people obtain transplants.
I actually wanted to bring an intermediary on because the next half hour we have a heart recipient, one of my former congregants, and I want to give somebody that just kind of talked about the whole process and the whole procurement process. I kind of monitored from a distance because I actually was working with Chrissy at the time and knew when she was out. Chrissy, come in and kind of tell what that experience was like, the whole convalescence and everything, if you would, please.
Well, I guess the part about once I found out that she needed a kidney and we needed to go get tested to see if we were a match. It was driving down to Miami Transplant Center. Like I said, like she said, lots of tests to be, they had to run lots of tests, make sure that we were a match. And throughout the process, actually up until the morning of this transplant, they continued to test you because if any levels had changed that day, they would have canceled the surgery.
Wow.
So the process was not, it was long as far as making sure you had to go get your updates in your blood work. That was the most, I guess, the hardest part. But other than that, I didn't, there was never a doubt that I would do it. Once I found out that I was a match, I prayed, my prayer was that if I was a match, I would do it, and that God would make everything smooth. And the process was The process was smooth, and no complications. Like she said, it's been 5.5 years. We go back. Well, I went the first year, the third year, and the fifth year to do blood work checkup, and so far, so good.
I'm here trying to be all commentary man and everything, and I guess I just need to share this with our audience. Listen, these are family, friends. Their dad and mom are our pastors. We're actually in South Florida because of them, and from a very distance, very prayerful when I first learned of this whole situation, and being with Crystal at the time, I really was kind of had a pulse, but didn't know all of the intricacies, and so I'm just concurring with Phyllis, who just keeps saying praise God. Go ahead, Chris, before I get emotional
here. Well,
she was talking to him. Chris Hargrove, go ahead, join in.
Well, ladies, y'all pretty much was answering a lot of questions I was want to ask. You already answered some of them, but one of the questions I did have: what are some of the questions that someone should ask the transplant team?
For the donor or recipient?
Both.
Well, as a donor, I did have questions about the future and what it would mean if I ever needed a kidney. And one of the, if you could call it a benefit, is that you get put at the top of the list. So if something were to happen to me and I needed a kidney, I would go back to that transplant. They have a record, and you would basically, the donors get put at the top of the list. So those were some questions that I asked. I don't have any children, so at the time, I was possibly still interested. So I did ask questions that but just overall, the overall lifestyle change. Now, she had more of a lifestyle change than I had to make. There are some things that she cannot do for the rest of her life while she's on the medication. I don't really have any of those other than just one thing about medicine, that you have to make sure you let the doctors know when you go to the doctor or anything like that. Other than that, on the donor side, you just have to make sure you keep yourself healthy, because with anything else, you could develop, diabetes. So you want to make sure you still continue to exercise and keep your body at a healthy weight, just like you would if you had both kidneys. So that's how I kind of approach it. I did not, honestly, if I'm honest, I didn't have a whole lot of questions because I wasn't not going to do it. So it really didn't almost matter what they said, as long as the the process went and I was able to do it, I was able to do it. So I did not have a lot of questions, and it's probably because of who I was donating to. So that's my honest answer there.
To our viewers, go ahead, April.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, for me, a lot of the questions, like while I was on dialysis, they prepare you for life after the transplant, and not too much change, but I do take immunosuppressant, so I do have to stay healthy, because I don't, my immune system doesn't operate the same as a regular person's immune system. And there are certain things that there are just two things that I cannot eat, which is grapefruit, because it goes against my medication, and I also can't eat like raw stuff. So I had to get off of sushi and oysters, which I love. But other than that, my lifestyle actually got better once, I got the transplant, because obviously I don't have to be on dialysis 3 days a week. And I just try my best to stay healthy. I stick to the medication regimen. Yeah, and I drink. Oh my God, I drink so much water. If you ever see me, I always have water in my hand, because I drink gallons of water. And I guess I already have 3 kids, but I did want to know what the possibilities were if I ever to venture out to try to have another child. And basically, they just take you off your medication for 3 months, and it doesn't hurt your ability to have more kids. And once you get a transplant, your life really goes back to normal.
Oh, awesome. Listen, viewers, what I have also failed to say is, you heard Crystal say that never was a question. You would not find any closer of a set of sisters. I have just, since knowing them, just been amazed by their relationship. Kim is trying to join us tonight. I moved away from my brothers when I was fairly young, and we've been doing this remote thing, and now I'm back in the state of Florida. We try to stay together. But the love that these two guys share, you would think they were twins. They're just, so when Crystal said there was never a question, you heard her, there never would have been a question. Let me ask you this, ladies, and we got to get you all out of here. What was the convalescence process for both of you all?
Well, it wasn't the first couple of days, I guess, just for any major surgery. The healing process of a major surgery, the first couple of days for me, at the incision site was a little painful. But after that, other than having to stay inside because of that's what they tell you to do, I probably was up moving in a few days. I stayed in for the entire 3 to 4 weeks, only because my parents probably wouldn't let me out the house. But honestly, a few days after I was up and about, they encouraged that. April was like she said, her timeline was a little longer, but it was not. There was no complications. It's just because once she finished, she went back to work. After her 12 weeks, she went back to practicing law. I went right back to school. Before this, right when the summer was up, I was able to start back school. So it was not, we did do most of our healing time together. But it was not in no pain. They gave us pain but she was in pain. I was not. They took it out and that was it. They took it out and stitched me back up, and I probably could have been up and about in about a week or so, but I did take my time.
Ladies, the purpose for this show tonight, April, were you going to say something?
Okay. Oh, no, I wasn't going to say.
Okay. The purpose of this show tonight was not to expose you guys' personal business, but to try to impress upon our audience, your audience, everybody who's watching on all of our platforms and who will be watching, that when you go to the Driver's License Bureau, if they ask you about being an organ donor or so forth, we want to encourage you to please do so. So would you all like to make a statement in heading out? Chris, did you have another question you want to ask them before we head it out?
Well, actually, y'all hit on everything I was actually going to ask, but I guess like Crystal, one thing I did want to ask, once you found out about your donating, how did your health and stuff change prior to it? Was you always a healthy eater and took care of yourself? Obviously, probably did, but was there any adjustments going into the process before?
Well, yes, I was not as healthy as far as I did have to lose weight.
Okay.
The doctor was very honest. He was very, very honest. So I did have to lose weight, but other than that, other than losing weight, and they make sure you ask you to maintain that afterwards, just so you're not developing diabetes and some other things. But other than that, no. I think I was on the healthier side of life, thank God. So it wasn't. But I do want to, as Pastor Varner said, encourage us to become organ donors, especially you hear the myths of as soon as they see it on your license, they're gonna make sure you die, and that's not the case. You have to. I would encourage those to research for yourself, talk to people who've done it, and seriously consider become a living organ donor if possible. Those of you who may have family members that or friends that are on dialysis and may need a kidney, ask them, who are you? What doctor can I go to see if I'm a match? And the first one is just a simple blood type test. So, it's not as bad as you think. So first they make sure your blood type is even compatible. So I would encourage a lot, to go get tested, see if you're a match for someone, especially I think it's easier for a living donor that you start there and definitely be open to the idea, because as a people, we do not we get caught up on a lot of myths, rightfully so, some of them, but we do have to open our minds so that we can help each other become a lot healthier, and live life longer and live life better.
And I would just like to add that there's over 100,000 people that are waiting for organs. And at least 80% of those people probably would have an organ by now if more people were willing to be an organ donor or have it on their driver's license. So, and outside of putting an organ donor on your driver's license, if you have a relative that passes, advise the doctors that, even if they did not have it on their license, to allow them to donate their organs. I mean, you can save multiple lives. That can be a kidney, a heart, lungs. There are many people whose lives can be saved if more people were just willing to donate their organs. And also, as Crystal said, a living donor is actually better than a cadaver, because the chances of not needing another one or the chances of rejection are lesser when you receive an organ from a living donor. But you're right. I just want to continue to encourage people to always, always, always include that you would like to be an organ donor on your license. And if you don't have it on your license, let your family members know. If something happens to me, make sure that you advise the hospital to donate my organ.
Well, I tell you what, I appreciate y'all's spirit. Y'all have enlightened me and brought my perspective on this whole thing of being an organ donor and everything. And I actually heard a pastor preach about that the other day. Pastor Brian was talking about that, about Jesus Christ was a donor for us. So we need to be mindful of that and be able to do the same thing for other people. So we really do appreciate y'all tonight. Appreciate y'all's stories. Like Pastor said, we wasn't trying to just jump in and get your personal life, but it really was inspiring. I mean, you really have shown me some different, changed my mind frame on being an organ donor and everything else. And I really do appreciate that. I'm not just saying it, I really mean that too.
Thank you all for having us. Thank you for using this platform for this topic. It's very important.
Right.
So we would not have missed this. And we hope we were able to give some perspective. And we're both on Facebook. I'm Crystal Glover. She's April Glover. If you have any questions.
People mix us up all the time.
Yeah,
But
if you have any questions. But thank you for having us.
No problem. Thank you,
ladies. Thank you ever so much. I may ask you all back in 4 or 5 months, because there was a major health alliance that wanted to be involved, and at the last minute they were not able to. So we may be asking you, but we won't limit your visits on this show to that. As important as it is, you are immensely gifted young ladies. You heard them say one of them, April's an attorney. Crystal is an ESE specialist, had the blessing of not only but working with her, as she is an extreme professional, and both of them are far diverse beyond that. So since we got you out on time, will you all consider to come back to some other time?
Anytime, sure.
Bless you all, and thank you ever so much. Bless you,
thank
ladies.
you.
That's Crystal and April Glover. April is a kidney transplant recipient, and her sister donated the organ to her. Crystal donated to her. So glad to have them on. What an interesting group tonight, huh?
Yes, sir. It was very interesting. Yes, sir.
We're not gonna call him a guest. He's a brother. He's a brother. As those are our sisters, he's a brother. Chris had the immense blessing of pastoring both he and his wife and their family. Was just on a forum with their young men who grew up with our children, and just blessed beyond measure to see where they are and their maturity. I always knew they were intelligent, but to see their work. And without any further, let's bring on Gordon Harris, and we're gonna see if we can get his songbird wife to come on at some point. Brother Gordon, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing wonderful. How you doing, Pastor?
I'm doing great, Doc. Doing great. Listen, Gordon Harris, he's a few years older than I am, maybe 10, something like that. I don't know. But he's a little older than I am. And I found him to be, when we were together, just one of the most fit individuals. We had Louis Hill on before. He defies the odds for his how he takes care of his body. Gordon was the same way. And when I looked on Facebook about 4 or 5 years ago, I think it was, he'll correct it, and saw that what looked like he was just out of a heart transplant, I had to look twice, make some calls, because I could not imagine, Bro Chris, that Bro Gordon Harris would have had that. Gordon, tell us your story, please.
Well, I got diagnosed in 2006 with an enlarged heart. And right away, they put me on medication. My doctor, Dr. Caceres was my doctor at the time. And they put me on a lot of medication, and they had me on a heart transplant list. And I was still working. I'm a correction officer. I was still working with the Illinois Department of Correction. And then I retired in 2011. When I got diagnosed, the first thing that I said when I went back to my car, I said, I'm not claiming this because I believe that God was going to take care of me.
Yeah.
And so I just, I kept on working, doing what the doctors told me, and taking all these pills, and just kept on working. I had a pacemaker put in, and then in 2000, when I retired in 2011, and then I got worse. I had a pacemaker put in. Then I had a ablation done in 2016, and they lost me on the table.
Wow.
And what happened after that, you have to ask my wife and my son, because, I went in on a Wednesday and I was supposed to go home that Thursday, and I didn't wake up until that Saturday. And so I had that done at the University of Chicago Hospital. And what had happened after they had did the ablation, when they were coming out, they cut an artery. And so they had to get a surgeon come in and fix that, so they had lost me on the table there. And after that,
let me ask you something. Are you saying that during the procedure, they made a mistake and cut an artery?
They cut an artery after they had did the procedure. When they were coming out, I guess they cut an artery. And so they had to call another surgeon in, to fix that. And of course, I was out, like I say, they had lost me on the table. I don't know if it was doing the ablation or after they cut the artery. I don't know, so like I say, I went in on a Wednesday and I didn't wake up until that Saturday. And I didn't know what had happened.
Wow.
My wife and son were there, and they told me what had happened. And so after that, after I had that surgery, I went back for checkups a few times, and then I didn't, I go in for a checkup, and the doctor would ask me, well, how you doing? Are you doing any better? And I would say no, because I wasn't. And eventually I ended up going to University of Loyola Hospital Medical Center. And I told them at what had happened, and they put a PICC line in where I had a medication going, through my arm that was went to my heart. Was giving me this melodrone, this medication to help my heart, function a little bit better. That was in May of 2017 when I had that done. And so they talked to me about heart transplant, and they told me when we went to the meeting, said I was on the B list, which was somewhere in the middle. They had talked about LVADs and stuff like that, which is a device that has 2 batteries, and they have tubes that go up to your heart that helps your heart function and beat and stuff. But I looked at the information. I talked to some patients when I was at Loyola University. This lady came to my room. Her son had the LVAD, and she, gave me some advice on it. Then I had a good friend, Gary Sage, that really helped me through things because he had been in the hospital for over 100 days. I think it was about 130 days at the time, and
Oh my God.
he had an LVAD at the time. And I asked him to let me hold one of the batteries, and that thing was so heavy. I already had a small battery on me from the PICC line, and then I had made up my mind I wasn't going to do that. I was going to wait. They told me it might be a year or even longer before I got a heart transplant. But on September the 3rd, 2017, approximately about 9:30 p.m., I get a call from the nurse saying, and I got it all written down here. It said, "Mr. Harris, we have a heart for you."
Oh my God.
And I just paused. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to say. I called my wife, and I got to thinking about my friend Gary, who had been in the hospital, and other people who had been on the list that had been waiting longer than me. And they told me they had a heart for me. And they go through a lot. They check a lot to determine whether a heart is good for you or not. And then so I was in shock, and so I called my wife into the room, and I asked the nurse, I asked my wife, I said, "What do you think?" She said, "Well, it's up to you." And so I asked the nurse, I said, "Well, how much time do I have?" She said, "About 10 minutes.
Wow.
So I had to make up my mind. I was watching a football game at the time. It was a Sunday night. I was watching a football game, Labor Day weekend. I told my wife, I said, I'm gonna that Saturday, that Sunday, I said I'm gonna cook up these ribs and stuff, so I don't have to do it Sunday and I can just hang out with everybody. And so I cooked those ribs and things, and then I told her, and I said, well, I told the nurse, I said, when she told me I had 10 minutes, I said, well, and then she noticed I paused. She said, well, you want to speak to the doctor? And I said, yeah. And so the doctor came on. He said, I think I got the perfect heart for you, just for you. And I said, okay, how much time do I have? And they said, well, we got about 48 hours. Just come on up here now. And because we know how far you got to go from, I live in Sterling, Illinois, and it's in Maywood. Loyola's in Maywood, Illinois. So I had a couple-hour drive. So I called all the kids together to the house and told them what was going on. I told my oldest son, I gave him, my told him where all the papers were in my lockbox and what my bank numbers were and all that stuff, and then, we went to the hospital. My daughter drove up. I sat in the back seat with one of my granddaughters, and my wife and my daughter were in the front seat. And so we went up to the emergency room at Loyola, and they, took me in.
Let me ask you this, Gordon. I hate to interrupt. Let me ask you this. Well, number one, you didn't call me about the bank numbers, but that's all right. We'll talk about that off camera. I heard you say you were having some pains. Did you see a gradual degeneration of your heart, or was it almost abrupt? And how surprised were you being in the shape that you were in?
Well, I was shocked when they told me I had an enlarged heart, because I was an athlete, I ran track, I didn't abuse my body. We were always going to the gym or something, playing basketball, or I rode my bicycle, and, I walked a lot. And because, Brother Hill and I used to walk every morning at 6 o'clock. We used to do about 6 miles a day.
Right.
And I just gradually went downhill after I retired in 2011. But, like I say, I kept on working. They couldn't believe, I had about 40% function of my heart at the time. And, it was getting weaker all the time, but the medications helped. But, I never did abuse my body.
There's a video. Well, I tell you what, we'll do that in one second. So what causes an enlarged heart? Is that just?
I have no idea. As a matter of fact, to this day, I'd ask my doctor, well, what happened? What caused it? And no one seems to know. I was in the service, and I was in Vietnam, and one of the symptoms of Agent Orange is heart problems. So I don't know if I got it there or not. It takes a while for some people to start feeling body changes in their body. So I don't know if that's where I attained it or not.
Being in that area, that was what led to the heart attack of when Mayor Washington passed. That was the diagnosis was that he had an enlarged heart. Because I'm gonna let you get. I just want to say this. Let's say I was diagnosed in 2008 with prostate cancer. I guess 2 years prior to that, I was diagnosed with an enlarged prostate, which I understand is common amongst black males. And so, well, it can only be black males, right? So when I went back the second time that my PSA was high, I just knew that they were going to tell me that it's when they did the biopsy, they were going to say, well, it's high because you have an enlarged prostate. I was absolutely blown away when it came back, positive. So I was just so glad I was able to jump on that early so that we could treat it. Bro, Chris, go ahead and weigh in. I don't know if you heard off camera, Bro Gordon, he had a heart attack.
Yeah, I heard.
So go ahead, Chris, weigh in.
Brother Harris, my question is, what should one expect post-transplant?
What to expect?
What is one to expect post-transplant? Once you had the transplant, what should somebody expect? If somebody is,
Well, I had my transplant on the 5th of September, 2017. And, it's different for everybody.
Right.
It takes some people, it takes a little bit longer to, recover. But they said I was textbook. I mean, I'm so used to doing stuff. So, at 3 o'clock in the morning when the nurse would come in to the ICU, I'd be blowing on that machine, and they couldn't believe, that I was doing it at 3 o'clock in the morning,
Right.
without somebody coming in and say, well, have you did this and that? And I was doing, I wanted to get up and get out of there as soon as possible and get back to some kind of normalcy in my life. And so I had my surgery on the 5th of September, and on the 15th, I was coming home.
Look at God. That's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, nothing but God.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's also the dedication of hard work that you have inside of you that brought you through this as well, too. The fact that you was not willing just to sit there and just, and sober in and you had to get up and go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they do a lot of work, to get you back.
Okay. The therapy part of
The
it.
least I could do
Right.
was try to get better,
Right.
and not just lay there and waddle, but get better.
I
So
guess
that's what I
okay. I guess that's what my question was more leaning towards is the therapy part of it from the hospital as well and the doctors and stuff like that. Uh, is it just looking at they really put a timeline on you, or do you try to figure out something? Hey, this is where I want. This is the time I want to be in here, or is it
well,
something they said for you?
yeah, it depends on how quick you recover and how they have the physical therapist coming in and everybody talking to you and doing little exercises, walking you down the hall and see how you do and giving you little exercises to do while you're in your room and so I did all that stuff and they'd walk you around the ward and stuff and asked how you doing, you want to go again, yeah, and as many
Right.
times you go, I go.
Hey,
But
Quentin,
So
after,
wait.
after the surgery, I had to go back every week to get a biopsy. They go in and check the heart, take a piece of the heart, make sure there's no rejection. So I did that for the first 6 months or so. I was going back. I'd start out going back every week, and then it would go to every 2 weeks, and then it go every 3 weeks, and then every month, then every 2 months, every 3 months, to get a biopsy.
Okay.
And I always had to have somebody to drive me, and I had to sit in the back seat. I couldn't drive, and that was driving me crazy. I tell you.
why couldn't you sit up front?
The kids had to get papers filled out so that they could take off from work to drive me, to the hospital, all my kids. And then I had some church members that volunteered to fill in. And, a lot of love. A lot of people did a lot of things.
Gordon Harris is listen, one of the most lovable guys on the planet. So if anybody ever needed a helping hand, he would get it because that's just his spirit. I mean, one of the things I observed from him when working with him was his spirit towards, he was so respectful in his spirit towards elders. And so, you know what, a good deed deserves another. Gordon, why did you have to sit in the back seat?
What's that?
Why did you have to sit in the back seat?
Well, because they had split open my chest. And if something happened, they didn't want me to get in an accident or something. Because I asked him, well, can I ride my bicycle? He said, no, if you fall, you might bust open those stitches, those staples that I have in my chest. So I had to sit in the back seat. It's strange because most people don't get to sit in the back seat.
Right.
And I ain't no backseat driver. I like to be in control. And I tell you what, when I finally did have to go back to driving, you forget how to drive.
Wow.
You do. I felt like I was all over the road.
Wow.
Yeah, but
well,
losing that independence was rough. Having to depend on somebody to take you here and there. And I don't like to ask anybody.
It's all right, brother.
I know. I'm saying wow, but I actually know what it's like because my wife has had me on lockdown since the pandemic because of my pre-existing conditions. And and I remember, I was going down to the golf course walking and then going down here to the grocery store, which was all within a third of a mile either way. And the first time I went down to deliver drop off some communion to a member, it was almost like going on a field trip. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of like back into that mode now. Gordon, what we want to do, and viewers, we want you to please, we have a few more minutes. Gordon's been so gracious with his time. We want you to ask any questions about the process or ask him about his personal convalescence. Just send them in and we'll get those questions to him. But we want to get a video, his pre-surgery video that he's so kind to share with us.
Show, this is my donor.
Oh, wow.
Okay, wow. Look at that young lady.
Yeah,
What?
yeah.
Hold that
her
thought.
name
I
is
want to ask you about
Peyton
her.
Edwards.
We want to ask you about her on the other side of the video.
Yeah, she was.
Okay.
Okay.
Hold that. Go ahead with the video, please, madam. Madam producer.
1:25 a.m. September the 5th. Waiting. Supposed to have this heart transplant around 5 o'clock, 5:30. It's all in God's hand. I might look worried, but I'm just uncomfortable. I think my butt done got flat from sitting on this bed so long. I can't get comfortable. I can't sleep. I can doze off for a little while and then I'm back up. So that's where I'm at now. Just continue to keep me in your prayers. Remember, if anything happens, don't forget to put my Kentucky blue blazer and my white pants and shirt and Kentucky tie and blue shoes on. Watch over and love one another. I love you all. My family, my wife, my kids, friends, church family. God bless you all. I'm out.
Now, Gordon, you know, I'm not, your pastor's not one of those guys that's going to shed a tear, but you're pushing the limit here today with that one. Let me say this. You heard him talking about the blue and white. We made sure that the poster was blue and white. We had the Glover ladies on, and they're both Deltas. So I had and they both went to that school in Tallahassee. I never could have put their colors on, but we decided to go with the Kentucky blue. Gordon is this big time Kentucky fan. So
I appreciate
it. We both in the SEC. Phyllis is with me. She's a Gator fan. So we had a big rivalry when we were together in Sterling. UK and of course the beloved Gator. We always talked about it. Go ahead, tell us a little bit about your donor and that process.
Well, her name is Peyton Edwards. Her mother is Kathy Edwards, and her father is Michael Edwards. And I'm so thankful to them that they, in their grief, the courage that it took for them to donate their daughter's organs. And not only me, they donated to 4 other people. And for anyone who's had an organ transplant, I wish you would reach out to the families. You know, like Gift of Hope told me, you know, some families might respond and others may not. But I wrote a letter, and after a few months, after I started feeling better, I wrote a letter to Gift of Hope, and they made copies and sent it after they looked over it, and sent it to the mother and the father. You know, told them a little bit about myself, and how thankful I was, and that I was going to do everything in my power to take care of this precious gift that they gave me.
Jesus.
And so we finally met. I met the father first, and then the mother. And of course, you know, a lot of tears, nervous. Everybody was nervous. Yeah, we all went and just me and my wife went to meet the parents because my kids couldn't get away at that time. But my kids, outside of my youngest son, he didn't get to go with us. But my son and my daughter and grandchildren went with me to meet the father, and I met an aunt and an uncle. And then when I met the mother and her fiance and her mother and some cousins and nieces and things like that. But Peyton was 17, 2 weeks from turning 18 years old. She had a car accident. She had left a friend's house, was on her way home to get dressed to go to work, rode her car. Her mother told me she might have been reading a text or texting, and she had an accident, and that's what happened.
My gosh, my gosh, my gosh. Chris, weigh in, please.
Man, that's heavy right there. Well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just watching, like Pastor said earlier, I'm trying to keep my tears rolling as well. And, but the blessing part about this here, the family was able to, come to, Lord forgive me, but come to a point and realize that, hey, somebody else needs the heart as well, and to be able to survive. And they know that Peyton is still living. So through you, so which is a blessing.
Oh, bless you. Yes.
Which is a blessing.
Yeah, they said that's what their daughter would wanted them to do.
Right.
They told me that she was the kind of person that would help people, and they said at her funeral, kids were coming up to him, telling them how Peyton had helped them out in different situations, and just a loving teenager. I talked to the mom over the holidays, because I got to thinking about him and asking a question, what would Peyton be doing now, at the time, and of course she said, she would probably be out of school, and she said she was talking to her fiance and about, do you know how hard it would have been to keep Peyton in the house during this pandemic, But we keep in contact with one another, we might text or I might call every once in a while and, just check in. I keep Peyton's picture on my wall in the bedroom. So when I wake up every morning, I see her picture.
Right.
Jesus.
And remind myself to take care of myself because that's what I promised.
Right.
Oh,
and that's what I intend to do.
Wow. You really pushing me tonight, Gordon. I didn't anticipate this tonight. This is really, but this is the God equation, guys.
Right.
We came on just to do a good, and you know what? I had some hard time with this show. I was a little disappointed in one of the healthcare agencies, I won't call their name, who didn't come on, and I was trying to really get them to make a pitch. But I think God just worked it out. The producer told me, she said those ladies and Mr. Harris would have such enough of a story that it would do the purpose that you're trying to do. And I just listened to it. It was so calming, and seeing it manifest like this, it really is. Boy, we got to get you out of here. Tell everybody what you're able to do now. What's this, 3 years in after the transplant?
Yeah, it's been 3 years. I'm back to exercise. I don't have any restrictions. I as far as I try to watch my diet. Like the sister said, I can't eat grapefruit or pomegranates, anything like that. I don't eat no sushi anyway. No raw foods or anything like that. Basically, try to eat a lot of fruits and vegetables. Just watch what I eat. Try to exercise. Like I say, I was telling you, I do 100 push-ups every morning. I do 50 at a time. Trying to get to do like Lou Hill, do on my birthday do 70 at a time, you know. So God blessed me to reach 70, so I'm good, you
Oh
know.
man.
Right. You don't look it at all.
I told
Thank you
y'all he
very
was 10 years older than me.
My goodness, you look good
No,
for
just
your
joking.
age.
Just
well,
joking.
thank you very much. But it's the God in me that
Just
you know. But you know, I exercise, like I say, I play pickleball. I haven't been back now since we reopened, but I play pickleball. In the summer, I ride my bicycle. You know, play with my grandkids. You know, I got my youngest granddaughter is 5. She'll be 6 next month, and so when I pick her up during the summer, I pick her up from school. We go to McDonald's, then we go to the park. You know, so but then I got 2 others that play volleyball and basketball. My oldest granddaughter just graduated from college last May. Uh, degree in psychology, Kiara, and
Okay.
you know, then I got uh, 2 others. You know, I got 7 granddaughters.
wow.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
You got enough to keep you busy there.
Oh yeah, yeah. And so you know they keep me busy. So I don't have any restrictions as far as that. You know, I do what I want to do. Uh, but you know, this pandemic doesn't bother me because I've been wearing a mask for the last 3 years. You know,
Okay.
Okay.
when I had my surgery, I had a sign on the door. Of course, I wasn't accepting a lot of visitors in the beginning, you know, but I had a sign on my door that says, take your shoes off, sanitize your hands, put on a mask, you know, when they came into the house. And so I've been doing that anyway. And I was doing that for 20 years, over 20 years when I was working at the prison. I kept hand sanitizer with me and disinfectant wipes and stuff, wiping down everything before I got to work. And, you know, so I've been doing that all along. And you know, now still doing it.
Right.
Boy, I gotta ask you this. Is Claudette your mom?
Claudette?
Yes, Claudette Harris.
Yeah, that's my mother.
I still remember Miss Harris. I didn't mean to call her by her first name. God bless you, man. Is
Yeah,
that
she
Miss Mom
might
that
be
went
looking. I
on?
don't know.
She is
I
on.
about it.
She just weighed in.
Oh, did she?
Yes, yes. She said,
Oh, that's
praise
her
God for you
She's
picture.
all blessings.
86 years old, still working.
Good.
Oh, okay, all right.
How you doing, Miss
Miss
Harris?
Harris, bless your heart. You can come on camera. You can come on. You are a blessed lady. You are a blessed lady. You can come on. We'll be glad to see you. Chris, we got to get him out of here. You have any final comments or questions?
Well, you know, my thing is, I'm telling you, Deacon Harris, you've been an inspiration to me, especially with having a heart attack this year. You know, the fact of taking care of yourself and the way you're doing it, and but the one thing that keeps me inspired from what you're saying right now is the fact that you know who did it. It was God.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah,
my thing is, and that right there is enough said to me. And so, and I can only not only hear, but I can see it in your expressions. You can see how God has, worked through you and worked through in you, and you've been a blessing to a whole bunch of people, not just us tonight, but just through life period. Because the way you was telling your story about how people helped you, that's a servant story right there. So I thank you for sharing that story with us, and it really has, guided my eyes in the direction that God needs me to be able to see things through His eyes.
yeah,
That,
yeah.
that, that,
I see. I think my donor family is on too. I just saw my donor's uh, the Kathy's her fiance. I just saw him, and my sister's on too.
Okay,
But yeah, I think they were on too. And you know, I can't say enough for that Edwards family for what they did for me and my family.
right.
wow. Well, uh, Chris, you've been calling him Deacon Harris, and that's what he is. He's a deacon. But I'm gonna out him on worldwide on the World Wide Web. I'm gonna out him. This man goes by the title of deacon, but he's been a preacher since he's probably 17, 18 years old. And I told him he need to stop bootlegging that deacon title and go ahead and grab that mantle up. And there's a church over there that he and another guy can go there and bless. I know you agree with me, right, Miss Harris? Is that Miss Martha back? Okay.
Yeah,
Is that
she
Miss Martha?
came up behind me.
Miss
How
Martha.
you doing, Miss Harris?
Fine, thank you. How you guys doing?
Good.
We gonna be better in a second. I'm gonna tell you why. We're gonna be blessed tonight. I'm gonna put you on the spot. Bless you, Miss Martha. This is one of the most anointed voices in all of the world. I'm not talking about talented. I'm talking about she has the talent, but along with the talent is the anointing. So, with that being said, we're gonna get you out of here, but we're gonna ask you to sing us out of here, Miss Martha. Would you do that, please? Your choice. You know what
Hey,
I like.
before she does that, I want to thank the Edwards family that just reached out to me. I love you all so much, and I can't wait for us to get together, and I can show Jeff how to cook. And I know he's probably busting out laughing when I said that, but yeah, okay, she's here. But I want to encourage
Please.
everyone, if you're not a donor, I had it on my license beforehand, and my kids are donors on their license now. But to save someone else's life, it's important, and I'll never be able to thank my donor family enough for what they've given me, and I want God to bless them immensely.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And thank you for having me, and I hope enough people see this and are encouraged that it's not over till God says it's over.
Amen. Amen.
Watch out, bro.
I thought my life was over, and I had made arrangements, and I know God just laughed. Like you saw in the video, I had things picked out, gave instruction, but God had a different plan.
Right.
Yes, sir.
So I am highly blessed and favored. His grace and his mercy, and just his grace and his mercy and his love, and the love that my donor family had for their daughter, and to show that love to me, to somebody else, and 4 other people. I don't know who they are. I don't know if they've contacted this family or not, but I wish they would. This is a loving family. So that I'm gonna stop because I might shout.
That's all right.
See, I told y'all he was a preacher. I told you he was a preacher. Y'all gonna listen to me one time. God, man, listen. You have like I said, you've just gone far beyond anything we would have ever said.
Somebody as I pass along, and if I can cheer somebody with a word or a song.
Go ahead, sister. Go ahead.
I can cheer somebody that they're traveling wrong, then my living shall not be in vain. Then my living shall not be in vain. No, my living, it shall not be in vain. If I can help somebody as I pass along, then my living shall not be in vain. Yeah.
Bless you, Miss Martha.
Amen. Amen.
Nothing but love for you, brother. Nothing but love.
Can I say one more thing? I just want to thank the doctors. Dr. McGee, my cardiologist, the surgeon, and Dr. Haru, Dr. Lebo, all those people at Loyola. Thank you so much.
Anything else? I cut you short. Anybody you want to thank or say anything else on the way out of here, please do. Give the
all those
the organization.
The Gift of Hope.
Okay.
Thank you, Gift of Hope.
Gordon, bless
Yes.
you, man.
Thank you very much.
Bless you. We
God bless you.
Listen,
You guys have a wonderful night.
God bless you too. Have a blessed
you
one.
sign off, my brother.
Nice meeting you, brother, and I'm gonna keep you in my prayers, and I honestly mean that. I'll be praying for you.
Thank you very much.
Gordon, if you would, my brother just signed on. He
it.
is our co-host. And Kim, you missed it. I know you heard the song. Gordon is a heart transplant recipient, and he has just pushed everybody to the verge of tears with his story tonight. Wow. And I know you'll see it, but I thought you might just want to address him before we sign off.
Well, first of all, gentlemen, I apologize about being late. I helped coach the PAL boxing program here, so I had boxing tonight. Forgot to mention it to Dozell earlier.
Oh, I like to box.
Yeah, I enjoy it, man. I got it from my dad, honestly. So
I did too.
Yeah. And then now that I'm coaching, I really enjoy it, man. I can, sometimes you do it a little bit, but you find yourself you're a better coach at it than you are a player. So. but I'm sorry I missed your the show tonight. I'm real sorry I missed the show, and those that just told me, I could tell it was a heartwarming thing. So. My prayers are with you, bro. Thanks for coming on tonight and sharing it with us. I'm sure somebody out there needed to hear it. So,
yeah,
I appreciate you coming on. And brother Christopher, nice to meet you, bro. But wish I could have been here to hear the show and get more into it. I'm a recipient of a hip implant myself, so had to get artificial hip a few years ago. So I can kind of relate to that a little bit. Nothing with the heart, but
yeah,
it's hard to do what I had to do.
Right. Right. Well, it's good meeting you. Good seeing
you. Nice meeting you, brother. Nice meeting you.
Gordon again, man. We love you.
I love you all.
Well, yeah, we love you.
Lauderdale, Gordon? Are you down in Lauderdale as well?
What's that?
Are you down?
No, he's in Sterling.
Okay.
No, I'm in Illinois.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
I'm in Texas.
Okay. So we come from all over, man. I was just in Texas last week, so got to leave to go in the morning. I got to be in Aurora, Ohio tomorrow, so got to pack me some warm clothes.
Yeah, you better pack some clothes. We got a snowstorm going on now.
Yeah. I checked the weather. It says it's gonna be snowing up there, so I like going up there, getting in it, and getting back out of it. Stick and move. So
yeah. It's nice to be able to do that.
We're
supposed to get 6 inches tonight.
Wow.
Gordon, I'm so sorry to tell you all, I wore shorts all day today. So,
okay. Rub it in. Rub it in.
Yeah,
rub it in.
I was a little comfortable today, too. It's going to be a different story tomorrow, but I was comfortable today, so.
Listen, we love you. Gordon and Martha Harris. They have 3 beautiful children, 7 granddaughters.
Yeah.
And just a beautiful family. Sterling is Illinois is all the richer for them. And the planet Earth is a richer place that God sent them our way. You heard Gordon's story.
Thank you.
It's not over until God says it's over. Gordon, Miss Martha, we're going to get you back because you're too vast also. We're going to talk about some other things. So thank you very much. God
Thank
bless
you. Your son just hit me up saying my first barber.
Latoya said you gave her some kind of curl too. So
yeah. New wave.
Bless you guys.
Jackball trade. All right. God bless you all.
Yes, sir.
All right. God bless you and thanks again.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Think this show here I was, and I'm not gonna get on the soapbox. We're a little bit over. Not gonna get on the soapbox. I was a little bit upset about a major health company backing out on us or not committing to us, and like I say, Toya just kind of refocused me, and it could not have been better. We have heard 2 heartwarming stories, and as she said, they would be. And you see what a rich couple the Harrises are, and the Glover girls. they're just two awesome sisters.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just our prayer that people will think twice. And I was glad to hear Crystal say, "Don't worry about that myth about you when you being an organ donator. Nothing can happen to you. The blood of Jesus covers us. Nothing can happen to us until God gets ready for us." You just heard Gordon say it. So we just want to invite our audience to please give the gift of life. This is one of our most important shows. Give the gift of life and be ready to give. Listen, guys, just real quick on the way out of here, who you got in the Super Bowl?
Tampa Bay.
I got I'm going against the grain, man. I'm going with KC. I just don't want to see Brady. He can't do that. I'm not hating on it because the dude just good, man. I just don't want to see him come from up there, come down here, and go straight to a Super Bowl, man. Or he's there. Don't want to see him win one, but I like Tampa Bay, so I really don't have a dog in the fight.
Well, it's hard for me to pull against, and I know Kim gonna call me a bandwagon guy because he said that because I like Golden State. I'm just Chris. I love offense. So just like Curry and them brought that offense to Golden State, I got to ride with my homeboy because he got it going on. So I'm going with him. Yeah, Kim. I know it's hard to bet against Brady. But I think if anybody can take him down, I think my homeboy can outdo him. We'll see in a few weeks.
I'm going with the young man too. So the GOAT, Brady the GOAT. Ain't no doubt about it. We can't argue that fact, man. The dude just good. But I want to see my homeboy take him out too.
Well, let me tell you what's coming up, guys. On next week, we're going to do a show as it begins African American History Month. We're going to do a show about diversity as a whole. Are the schools systems teaching enough diversity since we're not just a dominant culture, which is not dominant culture anymore. We're really a melting pot. All you got to do is live in South Florida to really know that. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about celebrating, just like we're celebrating. Is a month too long? Is it too short? Do other entities, do other cultures, do other nationalities, does the LGBT, do they get their adequate attention? We're going to deal with that next week, and we're going to ask you to join on, be with us, 8 o'clock Eastern time right here, Dialogue with Dozell. It starts, and we're going to kick off. You're going to hear from us each week. We're going to have 2 African-American heroes that we're going to celebrate. We're not reaching way back into the generations of George Washington Carver. You'll get that in the school system and the networks to do that. We're going to be bringing people. First of all, we're going to bring people who have passed on recently, who have been recent heroes or people who have made a difference. And then we're going to bring on somebody who is currently making a difference. So each night for the month of February, you're going to get 2 heroes on the Dialogue with Dozell show. Anything to say, guys, before we get out of here?
No, I really appreciate tonight. Really enjoyed myself. I almost cried. Well, I did shed a couple tears when I wasn't paying attention, but these were heartwarming stories, and I think all the people that logged in with us also to be able to hear these stories and be able to minister as we go out into the world about being an organ donor. And now you have a testimony from somebody else's testimonies to tell, that, hey, this is what I just learned, so we can help other people. And it's amazing that I heard a sermon about this 2 days ago. Pastor has spoke on it. So Pastor Brian did.
Wow.
I mean, he really did. Talk hard about it.
Bro, Chris, thank you for signing on and really kind of filling in with us. And your questions were spot on. So thank you so much for being here with us. And KB, glad you're back, man. Safe travels. And listen, we're getting ready to get out of here. We'll be looking for you all next week right here, Dialogue with Dozell. Anything you want to say on the way out, Kim?
No, I just I'm sure I missed some good testimonies, and I'll go back and check them out. But just look forward to being here next week. Prayers for everybody, and sorry I missed the show, man. You know, I'll catch it next week. So
Yeah, we know you be if you could. Hey man, big ups to you, bro. Safe travels, and we love you. Hey, listen, Dozell Land, you guys make this show possible. We cannot tell you how much we appreciate you. You sign on with us every week, and we just totally appreciate you. Until this time next week, this is Dozell, Kim, and Chris.
hey, I did have lunch. I don't know if Phyllis signed in tonight, but I had lunch with Phyllis today. We had our brother-sister lunch today at Cotton, so it was good to spend some time with her, you know.
So, oh, you're in Fern. Okay, listen, I'm coming up soon so I can hang out with you guys. I told her that.
No, me and Phyllis,
We
not
can see you
Fern. Me and Phyllis.
and our son.
So
So,
it was me and Phyllis, not Fern. Phyllis.
oh, Phyllis. Okay, well,
Yeah,
we'll just
yeah.
bring them both in.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
All
me and Fern got to catch up as well too. But
Okay. Hey, God bless you. Thanks for
God bless you too.
Y'all always
take care. Nice meeting you, bro.
We'll see you next
Yes, sir.
time.
Be careful on the trip.
Next
All
week.
right.